Tonight, we debate 8 Guy Ritchie films. Welcome back to another week of Debate 8. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Adam Douglas. This is Debate 8, and we have an awesome show for you tonight. As you already know, since you clicked on the title, tonight we're doing Guy Ritchie films, and we chose 8 that are some really excellent films, and I cannot wait to get into it and start discussing these films for you. The Gentleman comes out this week, and from all accounts, it's pretty good. We got a lot of people out there reviewing the movie, saying it's really good. So me personally, I'm a big Guy Ritchie fan, as we're going to discuss tonight. So I'm very excited to see The Gentleman and to also get everybody's opinions on the movies that we're going to talk about tonight. Now, before we really jump into it, there are a couple housekeeping things I want to touch before we get there. Since our last episode, we had a bunch of new subscribers, and I definitely just want to go and shout out everybody who is joining us. And if this is your first time watching, or if you're watching this on VOD, definitely if you enjoy what you're watching, give it a like for sure. That's definitely going to help out the video and the channel. And if you really like everything, go ahead and subscribe, because you never know, maybe you'll come back. Just like we got a new person here, Sir Nerdalot. Hello, Sir Nerdalot. Thank you so much for joining us, man. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on these Guy Ritchie films. It's gonna be fun. All right, so let me see if this runs right. Okay, there we go. So Joe Lau is a new subscriber to the channel, and these are all since the last time we came live. So Joe is definitely here new. We got Wolf too. Wolf is joining us as well. I talked to Wolf. I talked to all these people not that long ago, said they were going to sign up. Who else we got? We got KJ Smith joining us. Who else? Curtis signed up for the channel, which is awesome. Let's see if we get Curtis's name. Yeah, there we go, for sure. And then Kiwa. Let's see. I think Kiwa's going to pop up right here. And this is all thanks to Second Street Marvel, who I saw just jumped in the chat. He's been giving a lot of shout outs lately for the channel, which is awesome. Definitely, check out Trinity's channel at Second Street Marvel. He does an awesome morning show that you should definitely check. It's, make it part of your morning routine for sure, and check out Trinity's channel. Okay, so we got that out of the way. So thank you all for coming here. Let me explain how things work. Let me go to our bracket. So for those of you who are new here, so what we do is we take a typical like NCAA, tournament NCAA bracket, and we pair up all of these 8 movies, or 8, in this case, 8 movies of the topic of Guy Ritchie, and we're going to match them up, and we're going to discuss each matchup. And as we do, after we're done and having a nice fun discussion with everybody, then we're going to do a vote. We're going to do a live vote here in YouTube in the chat. You don't have to go to another website. You don't have to go to SurveyMonkey or anything like that. We do it right here. And once we get there, I will explain to you how we do it. So let's take a look at our matchups for the first round and see what we're getting into. A lot of great movies on this list. So the first matchup of the first round is the #1 seed Snatch going up against the number seed King Arthur, or sorry, the 8th seed King Arthur Legend of the Sword. The second matchup here in the first round is the number 4, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., going up against the number 5 seed Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows. The third matchup in the first round is the number 3 seed Sherlock Holmes going up against the number 6 seed Aladdin. And rounding out the first round is the 2nd seed Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels going up against the 7th seed RocknRolla. I just rewatched just pretty much almost all of them to get ready for this, and I have a lot of thoughts. I got a lot of opinions, but I definitely want to hear from you guys and get your opinions. So let's jump into it here. Okay, so supposedly, now this is a little different. All right, a little behind the scenes. Supposedly, I set up a chat box so that we can see. So let me just say hi everyone. Let me see if this works. Let's see if it pops off. If it doesn't pop up, no big deal. Then it doesn't work, and then I get rid of it. But it looks like it's not working. Oh well. Okay, who cares? We're plowing through. So let's talk about these movies, okay? Let's talk about Snatch. Let's talk about King Arthur. Definitely, if you're in the chat, let me know what you think about these movies and this matchup, and I will definitely go ahead and read some of these out for us. So, rewatching these, I absolutely realized that Snatch is not only one of my favorite Guy Ritchie movies. It might be one of my like top 50 movies of all time. Now, I haven't seen this movie in a long time, and I went and rewatched it for this tournament. And I remember really liking it back when I saw it, and I definitely saw it multiple times when I was younger. But I think this movie, more so than anything else, this holds up really well. And it's really funny. Some of the acting, it's very 90s. Okay, this movie is I wouldn't say it's of its time, but it's definitely very 90s, and it's very fun to see. Some of the acting is, I wouldn't say questionable, but like you can definitely tell that this is Jason Statham's like one of his first roles ever. He's awesome in this movie, but like his delivery is a little hesitant and a little I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's just he's young and he's fresh. Now Brad Pitt, on the other hand, like from the second he's on the screen, it captivates you, and you want to watch every single frame that he's in, and he's so good in this movie. He steals the show in this movie for sure. Now, before I give my thoughts on King Arthur, I'll jump into the chat. Second Street Marvel says, I don't think I've ever seen King Arthur. Okay, so let me explain my thoughts on King Arthur. I actually like this movie. I understand why people don't like it. I do. It's not one of those movies where I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand. How could anyone not like this movie? No, I get it. I get that it's a story that a little predictable for sure. I mean, and it's a very different take on it. But I think the acting is great in the movie. I think that the direction, I think the style that Guy Ritchie has really aided for the King Arthur story. And yeah, I know that it's a little predictable for sure, but I think that I don't mind King Arthur. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to win. I'm not saying that it's better than Snatch. There's a reason why it's the 8th seed in this tournament for sure. But I think that King Arthur is better than people give it credit for. Again, I'm not saying that it's the craziest thing, and I'm not saying that it's the best movie ever, but King Arthur, I think, got the short end of the stick for sure, especially for reviews. I don't know. It was fine. It was fun. I had a fun time with it. All right, let's jump back into the chat. Just so to continue what I was saying. So Trinity, definitely, I would say check it out. And I think if you have kids, I mean, I know you have kids, but I'm saying in general for anyone who's watching who has kids, I think if you have kids who are at least 10 years old, I think it's probably a really fun time. So Sir Nerdlaw jumps in. Snatch definitely holds up. Yeah. Snatch 100% holds up. I was surprised too. I was, because it was of those time in the 90s where like it was definitely independent film. It's definitely of the Kevin Smith 90s era, but absolutely 100% it holds up. Snatch is great, says Second Street Marvel. I agree. LB, the Lonely Banter, is here. I am here. Welcome, LB. Thanks for showing up, man. I appreciate it. K-Log is here. Awesome, man. K-Log, welcome. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to this show. Can't wait to get all your guys' opinions on Guy Ritchie and what you guys think about it. And I'm a little. I wish that this chat thing was working. I'm a little pissed that it's not. But hey, what are you gonna do? All right. So, let's see. K-Log hasn't seen King Arthur. See, that's the problem, and that's why I put it at the 8th seed, because I know a lot of people haven't seen it. And I'm gonna say see it. That's my recommendation, is see it. Don't go into it expecting the greatest thing you've ever seen. But here's what this movie does have going for it. If you like Guy Ritchie, I think you'll actually get a lot out of it. Okay, I think that his style, especially when it comes to getting character interactions between his actors. Okay, you know, with Guy Ritchie, he definitely has a style, and you either like his style or you don't. And his style shines through all of these movies that he does. But one thing that he does really well, and why he's a great director, not just a good director, he's a great director, because he is very, very good. And you can see it with every single one of his movies. He's very good at getting the best out of his actors, hands down. He's one of the best at doing that. You can tell with some of these movies where some of these actors aren't the greatest actors in the world, but he's able to pull out great performances. All right, let me jump back in the chat. LB says, I saw the Clive Owen King Arthur. That's about it. Yeah, you know, it came out at a time where, you know, the King Arthur story is so tired, and I totally get that. I do. And maybe I'm a little bit of a sucker and apologist for the King Arthur stuff. I mean, I like the King Arthur story, and I know, and it's definitely a little different. It definitely leans into the magical realm, if you will. There's no Merlin, but there's a Merlin's assistant in this movie. I don't want to give it away for those of you who say you haven't seen it and still probably will never see it, but we'll see. So yeah, 19K Fox jumps in. Guy Ritchie films are great. They have their own unique style. 100% agree. And that's what we're probably going to talk about tonight is it's the styles of this movie, for sure. K-Log says, is Morgan Freeman in this one? Then no, I won't like it. Okay. No Morgan Freeman for sure, but it does have, Jaimin shit, I'm gonna forget his name, so hold on. I'm gonna look it up real quick, because I don't want to mess up his name. Jaimin, hold on. Jaimin Hansu, that's his name. He's good. He's really good in this movie, and it's got let's see, Eric Bana's in it for a couple seconds. Aidan Gillen, hey, if you like Game of Thrones, you got Aidan Gillen in this one as well, for sure. And Jude Law is awesome. Jude Law is a great actor. So yeah, so look, I would say the cast is good. If you're not into King Arthur, then it really is nothing for you. So, you know, I can't help you there. I can only convince you just a little bit to at least test it out. But hey, I think this one's a clear winner. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna open up the poll here. Okay, so here's how this works. For those of you who are here for the first time, this is how the voting works. In the chat, in the actual chat, if you want to vote for Snatch, do !vote1. So that's !vote space 1. Okay, you can do it right in the chat. It'll do your vote. You'll know if you did it right because the bot will tell you in chat if you actually got your vote in. So if you want to vote for Snatch to move on to the next round, !vote1 in the chat. If you want to vote for King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, !vote 8. K-Log, you gotta do vote, not just exclamation. So here, I'm gonna do an example for everyone in the chat how exactly to do it. So !vote. So that's what I did. I'm voting for Snatch. I think it's a clear winner for sure. And I can't imagine, you know, I'm looking at the chat. Nerdalot's going for Snatch. Second Street going for Snatch. I think this one's a clear winner for sure. So we got a minute and 50 left on the clock just to run it out and have people vote. So yeah, one thing I'll say about Snatch for sure is I think this might be his best movie. Not only because of the direction of it, but the script. The script is so clever. It keeps you guessing at all times, and really it's not afraid. That's the one thing I will say about this movie. It's not afraid. It's not afraid to take chances. And as a first time indie filmmaker, that's what you got to do to put yourself on the map. And I think he definitely did. This movie it's not only like intense and thriller, but it's very funny too. It's got such great comedy in it too. And man, I tell you what though, Brad Pitt, I said it before, Brad Pitt steals the show in this because he gives you the heart of the movie. And it's funny because his character is such a crazy person. But what happens at the end with his mom, I mean, you really feel for it, and he pulls it off, man. And this was the time when people weren't so sure about Brad Pitt. I mean, he was still kind of feeling his way and getting, all the good roles. So yeah, he crushed it for sure. All right, there's only 24 seconds left on the clock, so I think we can pretty much call it. With 5 votes, Snatch is gonna win. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go with 100% of the vote. I'm gonna add it to our bracket. Go. All right, so we got Snatch moving on. Update and refresh. All right, time is just about done as well. So there we go. All right, we got time is done. Let's close that poll. All right, let's go ahead. Let's check our bracket again. So Snatch definitely moving on. Not really surprised there. Next one's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what kind. Secretary, I need some sock accounts. Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's see our next matchup. Number 4, Man from U.N.C.L.E. Number 5, Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows. Let's jump into that. Still pissed about this chat, man. I don't know why it's not working. All right, so let's see here. Let's just close that out. All right, so Man from U.N.C.L.E., Sherlock Holmes. Let's see what we got here. So I was pleasantly, I don't know about you guys, but I was pleasantly surprised with the Man from U.N.C.L.E. I didn't really know what to expect in this because I got to be honest. Henry Cavill is a mixed bag for me. I really, really, really like Man of Steel. I probably like it more than most people. And I know that, I know it's not beloved, and that's fine. But I really like that movie. I thought it was really good. And I thought he was really good at Superman. But more things that I've seen him in, I'm not sure how I feel about it. His delivery is just totally hammed up a bit. Like, if you guys saw the last Mission Impossible that he was in, was it Rogue Nation, right? Was that Rogue Nation, the last one? But the last one that he was in, I felt like he did the same acting and same delivery as he did in this movie. So I don't know that he's got range. So for that movie, I think that was the weakest part. But Armie Hammer and Alicia Vikander crushed this movie. Absolutely. I totally feel what they're doing. And the story, okay, so the script in this one, I wouldn't say it's the best script, but I would say that it still kept you on the edge of your seat as to how it was going to end. You kind of knew, I mean, all these movies nowadays, you kind of understand where it's going, and you kind of figure, okay, I can predict how it's going to end. But half the fun is just going through it and figuring out, what the actual story to get there. So in that case, I thought it was good. Direction was good. I thought he did some really fun things with the editing. So overall, I thought this was a fun movie. Now, Sherlock Holmes 2, this movie, I love the first Sherlock, and when we get to talking about the first Sherlock, you'll hear me gush about that. I'm curious what you guys think about these two movies, if you guys saw them. I thought this movie, I thought Sherlock Holmes was too safe for sure. I don't know why. I don't know. It felt rushed almost, which is weird because, like they definitely in the first one with Moriarty, they definitely premonitioned. Premonition. That's not even a word. They foreshadowed his arrival at the end of it, and so you knew that they had this idea of what to do, but for some reason, I don't know, it didn't compel me like the first one, which is a shame. And they're going to do a third one. They're writing it now. It's in pre-production, so it's coming. I just hope the third one is better than this one. Yeah, this one was fine. It was, it just didn't excite me as much. So for me personally, I think I'm going with Man of Uncle, the man from Uncle. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start the poll here. And definitely let me know, guys, in the chat, if you guys saw these movies, what you think. I know Second Street says I'm voting blind this time, so I'm assuming you didn't see either of these movies. I would say this, for if you did or did not see these movies, if you didn't see either one, I would say if you're in the mood for a fun spy caper kind of movie, definitely go Man from Uncle. Sherlock Holmes is fine. If I would say watch it before the third one comes out, because you might completely miss out on anything that's coming. But it's not my vote. So I'm definitely jumping in the chat here. I'm gonna do vote for sure. Sir Nerdalot jumps in and says, I just prefer the BBC Sherlock. Yes, I like that show too, with Doctor Strange. So yes, I completely agree. I really like that one too. I really, we'll get to it, but I really did like the first Sherlock movie. So maybe I can convince you, Nerdalot, to do that. Isn't the third, Second Street goes, isn't the third one called Doolittle? Man, aren't we all glad that was not, that the first movie he did after not being Iron Man was not Sherlock Holmes 3. I'm so glad. I'm glad that he got one out of his belt that was, by all accounts, not good. I haven't seen it. Don't know that I will. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, so yeah, definitely for me, Man of Uncle is the one for me. So but yeah, you guys should see it. You guys should see it for sure. And I'm glad it's moving on, because I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to add, because I don't think anyone's going to, that movie did not look interesting at all. I'm assuming you mean Doolittle, right? Doolittle did not look interesting at all. I agree 100%. That movie just looked absolutely terrible. Not for me. And after hearing that that Robert Downey Jr. sticks his hand up a dragon's butt, right? Is that what happened? I know I'm totally paraphrasing of what, everyone's been saying. So, because clearly I didn't see it, and I don't know that I'm going to. So, all right, Man of Uncle is moving on. I'm going to add this to our bracket, make it nice and easy, because we are about to run out of time on this one. LB says, ain't seen none one them movies. You should. If you like Guy Ritchie, I would say of these two, and not just because it's winning or about to win, I would say definitely give Man from Uncle a shot. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun movie. All right, let's go back to let's close our poll here. Now that this one's done. All right, let's go back to the bracket. All right, Man of Uncle clearly moving on. The number 4 seed, again, 100%. Which, being that most of you haven't seen Man from Uncle, I think I know who's going to win from Snatch and Man from Uncle. So that might be a quick one for sure. We'll see. Captain Pennsylvania. Oh, Captain's here. Hey, Captain Pennsylvania. Thanks for coming, man. He says, I like that Man from Uncle. Big fan of the series. I'll be honest, I don't know too much of the series. Like, if you're talking about the what is it, the 60s, unless there's a different series that you're talking about, I never saw that. The only thing I know from Man of Uncle is from this movie. and I enjoyed it. And they actually set it up at the very end for. I mean, it's not really a spoiler. They're trying to make a franchise out of everything, so they would have the hopes of making this into a franchise, and I would definitely see another one. And I don't think these actors' stocks could be any higher right now. So you got Henry Cavill, you got Alicia Vikander, and you got Armie Hammer with Guy Ritchie directing. I mean, that's a recipe for a good movie. I would see it. Cap says, no, same one. Pops is a fan. Oh, okay. Oh, so you're saying just in general, like this movie, like you would be a fan of a franchise if it went on. I agree, 100%. I would really like a sequel to that movie. I think that would get a lot of attention for the one that just came out, for sure. All right, what do we have here? We have the next matchup. Number 3, Sherlock Holmes going up against number 6 seed Aladdin. So let's go ahead and jump into there and test this out. All right, so this one I would assume is going to go the way of Sherlock Holmes, but let's see. I want to see what you guys have to say, because the thing about Aladdin, I'm not going to talk about Sherlock Holmes too much because I think that's going to move on. So I'll talk about that one later. Let's talk about Aladdin. Aladdin made a lot of money, guys. A lot of money, across the $1 billion. People like this movie, for sure. It's weird because I think this movie didn't actually have enough Guy Ritchie. And that was my biggest problem with the movie. Besides the fact that I think the guy who played Aladdin, Assad, I think that he was okay. I didn't love him, but Will Smith I thought was really fun. Will Smith is the best part of the movie, for sure. But again, this movie desperately needed the Guy Ritchie touch, I thought. And I felt like he was probably hamstrung. And before we go on a whole, Disney rant, before the chat starts blowing up about Disney, I do think that it seemed like they were, I wouldn't say that they were fully going to handcuff him, because there's nothing, controversial about the style of Guy Ritchie. I mean, it's more editing style than anything else. But I definitely feel like it didn't have enough Guy Ritchie isms in it for my liking. Let me jump back into the chat. We got Captain Pennsylvania said, Sherlock saw Aladdin while high and was horrible. I mean, I was reading books. Look, if a movie is not even good when you're high, that's a terrible sign, for sure. Sir Nerdalot, I keep almost watching Aladdin, but never do I want to. And that's not a good sign, especially like if you have Disney Plus. I don't know if you do, Nerdalot, but if you have Disney Plus, I think it's on Disney Plus now. So if it's even streaming and it's at, your fingertips and you're still not even hitting it, that's not a good sign. Definitely. All right, I'm going to start our poll. So 3 minutes on the clock. If you want to vote for Sherlock Holmes in the chat, do exclamation vote 3. If you want to vote for Aladdin, do exclamation vote 6 in the chat. Let me jump back in there and see what people are saying. Second Street Marvel saying, haven't seen all of Aladdin, only parts of it. I would assume the early parts. That would be weird if you started in the middle. But, I would say it was an enjoyable movie. That's what I would say. I have friends of mine who absolutely love this movie. And like I said, it made $1 billion. Of course it is. I haven't talked too much about Sherlock Holmes. So let me do that now while everyone's voting. Because everyone clearly is voting for Sherlock Holmes. So Sherlock Holmes is such a great movie, right? It's so fun. I think the script is so clever. I think the chemistry between Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law is hands down the best part about this movie. The interactions that they play off each other. It's clever in the fact that like they actually developed the thoughts that he had and weaved them into the story, and that was was so great about it. It's almost like what was that movie with Tom Hanks and he was Robert Langdon? Oh, you guys are gonna have to remind me in the chat. The one where he was playing the guy. I know. I can't believe I just said that. Hold on. I'm gonna try to look it up before the chat tells me. All right. Da Vinci Code. Ha. I did it. I beat you. Okay. So I feel like this movie is what the Da Vinci Code wishes it could be, right? Because the thing about the Da Vinci Code was it was trying to have you be inside the mind of somebody figuring stuff out. Oh, and before time runs out, I gotta vote. So it's all about getting inside the mind of somebody and thinking, 5, 6, 7 steps ahead, to go with that. Even Sir Nerdlot in the chat says, "Love the boxing scene," and that's a perfect example. So he literally plans out exactly how he's going to fight the guy and breaks it all down, and then in pure Guy Ritchie style, he does it super slow and then super fast. They get it done, and it's great. I love the way Guy Ritchie puts that together, and it was like the perfect way to get like the idiosyncrasies of a Sherlock Holmes who, a lot of people compare what Robert Downey Jr. did with this character to Jack Sparrow, right? It's like this weird kind of guy, and you're not really sure about him, but you have an actor who's so charming and he kind of pulls it off. So I would definitely say that it's along those lines. All right, the poll for the matchup is now done. We have Sherlock Holmes with 100% of the vote. Is anyone surprised with that? Most of you are like dogging on Aladdin, so I'm not surprised for sure. All right, let me save the bracket. Let's close out the poll. Let's go back to the bracket right now. All right. Whoops. Okay, hold on. No, Aladdin did not make it. We got Sherlock Holmes going. All right, let's save that instead. All right, let's refresh this bracket. All right, sorry about that. Sherlock Holmes moving on. And this one's going to be tough, I think. Number 2, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels going up against number 7, RocknRolla. All right, let's see this. Okay, again, let's get rid of this chat. That was a failed experiment. I'm going to have to fix that for next time. All right. So, let's see. I'm very curious about what you guys have to say about this movie, or these two movies, because when I was younger and I saw Lock, Stock, this was even above Snatch. This actually became my favorite movie of Guy Ritchie, and I gotta say, rewatching it for the tournament, I bumped it down. Now it's still the number 2 seed because I feel like this is still people's top movie for him, and I can't blame people, but I don't know. I was bored. I felt bored. To me it felt like, and it's weird because I didn't feel this way when I saw this years ago. I didn't feel this way at all. But rewatching it felt like obviously a sort of an unofficial sequel to Snatch. Obviously it has nothing to do with it, but it's got a lot of the same feel. It sort of felt like, and the reason why I say it's like a sequel, because like sometimes sequelitis happens where you're trying to recreate, and that's what I felt this was. I felt like he was really trying to recreate Snatch again, and I don't know, it didn't have the charm for me, and I hated watching it and not loving this movie. I really, when I went back to watch it, I thought this was going to be like tops for me, and it really wasn't. Now that being said, RocknRolla, Second Street says he hasn't seen it. K Fox says it's a tough one, and Curtis says he hasn't seen either. So we got the wide spectrum for this one. All right, so RocknRolla is about a musician. Okay, well he's sort of like one of the supporting characters, but it's about a thing it's about something that he does. I'm not going to give it because I know a few of you haven't seen it, and you should. It's a good time. So this kid does something. He steals something, and then it becomes this interwoven story about these like 3 or 4 groups of people, and the fallout from this one rock and roll guy who steals. It's a painting. I'll say that it doesn't spoil anything. He steals a painting, and it creates this chain reaction of interwoven stories. And so I liked it. I thought this movie was fun. It's got a killer cast, guys. Killer cast. All right, Gerard Butler, Tom Wilkinson, Tandy Newton, Mark Strong, Idris Elba, Tom Hardy. I mean, those are the any other movie that it would have that lineup would crush. It would crush. Everyone would see it. So if you're a fan of those guys, a fan of those actors, definitely give this a shot. I do have to say though, there are a few scenes with Jeremy Piven and Ludacris, and I gotta say those are the worst scenes in the movie. Man, I mean, look, Jeremy Piven was not quite yet in Entourage, I don't think. Maybe he was, but it didn't work for me. And Ludacris didn't work either. I mean, maybe he didn't really work out his Fast and Furious acting skills quite yet. For whatever you want to say about Ludacris, but those scenes were not the best. So putting that aside, the rest of the cast is great. Gerard Butler is amazing in this movie. Tom Hardy is really funny. He's actually, he's got more of a comedic, and so does Idris Elba. They're more on the lighter side, which is really good. And Tandy Newton, man, Tandy Newton looking good. Okay, if you are a fan of Tandy Newton from that HBO show, if you're a fan of hers, definitely check it out. Check out this movie. All right, so let me throw up the poll here for everybody. All right, so if you want to vote for Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, exclamation vote 2. If you want to vote RocknRolla, exclamation vote 7. I'm very interested. I'm sure this is going to be Lock, Stock, I would imagine. Just because I'm not sure that you guys have too many people have seen RocknRolla, which is why it's a lower seed for sure. This was definitely the 7th seed for a reason. Not quite as low as King Arthur, but I definitely had a feeling that not a whole lot of people have seen this movie. And I gotta say, after rewatching all of these movies, I always knew that I liked Guy Ritchie for sure, and I think he's really bumped up as one of my favorite directors of all time. I'm not going to say he's one of the greatest directors of all time, but as far as favorites go, I would say he's definitely bumped up as a favorite for sure. And that makes me very excited to see The Gentleman. And I'm very curious, everybody in the chat, how do you feel about The Gentleman? What do you with all the trailers coming out, I would say generally positive reviews. I'm curious, are you guys interested in The Gentleman coming out? Because I am. I definitely am. Because it looks like more of the Snatch, Lock, Stock, RocknRolla version with the visual quality of The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which is great. Man from U.N.C.L.E., just to piggyback from before, since we're running out the clock here, it's probably with the exception of maybe Aladdin, because you got that Disney money, it's probably the best looking film. It's shot beautifully. Second Street jumps in. Gentleman looks good. I'm there, man. I'm with you. I want to see that movie for sure. Or I'm definitely going to see that movie. So I'm actually very excited to see that. All right. I'm pretty sure we can call this early. I think Lock, Stock is going to take it. So let me go ahead and jump in. Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels. Not overly surprised there. Sometimes with these, and it's not going to be like this forever, but sometimes we go chalk, and that's for sure. And it happens, right? Captain Pennsylvania jumps in. I originally thought The Gentleman was about me. You mean it's not? I thought it was. That's what I was told. I was told it was about you. So somebody lied to me then, if that's not true. Sir Nerdalon, The Gentleman reminds me of more, Lock, Stock, Snatch. I'm excited. Matthew is perfect for that. Dude, Matthew McConaughey crushes, right? I mean, in those trailers, he looks awesome. And Hugh Grant looks so good in this movie too. I'm telling you. And Hugh Grant had a great little cameo role in Man from U.N.C.L.E. That's what Guy Ritchie does, right? He just gathers all of the crew together, and he makes movies. And that's, I find that some of my favorite directors are the directors that do that. They cultivate actors, and that way they know what they're going to get out of them, and they can, every time they work together, they get better and better and better. I nerd a lot. I'm totally with you on Matthew McConaughey doing that. All right, let me close this out. Let's jump back to the bracket. Here we go. We went chalk, everybody. I'm not really surprised. What I am going to be surprised about is who makes it to the next round, because I think the first matchup we got here, maybe it might be a quick one. I might start the poll a little early on that one, because I don't think Man from U.N.C.L.E. is beating Snatch in this one, but the second one's going to be interesting for sure. I think I can't wait to hear what all of your opinions are, for sure. All right, so let's do it. Let's jump into it. Matchup number 5. I'm just going to go ahead and start this poll because, like I said, I think this is going to be a pretty quick one. So Snatch, if you want to vote for Snatch, go !1. If you want to vote for Man from U.N.C.L.E., which is that way, go ahead and do !4 in the chat. Okay, so for me, I have to go Snatch, right? I mean, that's a given. We have to go Snatch. Well, I mean, you can do whatever you guys want. I'm going, even Captain Pennsylvania says, !1, it's only right. Yeah, for sure. It's only right. Curtis says, see neither again. Curtis, what are you doing, man? Get on this. All right. You got to get on this, and watch these movies. So, I think, where did I watch? See, a lot of them I rented for sure. But I know, like, on iTunes, I don't, if you guys have iTunes, I'm sure some of you do, some of you don't. It's a lot of these movies are $4 to rent, right? It's super cheap because they're older. So definitely worth it. Definitely worth the $4. And hey, I think some might be, I think one of them might be on Vudu. Yeah, if you don't mind commercials, cutting in your movies every now and then. I mean, I hate it, but for the show, I watched it on Vudu because it was free. I'm pretty sure RocknRolla was on Vudu. And I think some were on Hoopla. If anybody has Hoopla, I'm a big fan of Hoopla. If you have a local library, you get a lot of stuff on Hoopla for sure. All right. Yeah, I look at this. Look at this. We got 5 votes. It's 100% on Snatch. I mean, did anyone really question that one? I don't think so. I think that was definitely going to happen. All right, so I'm going to put in Snatch here. And by the way, while we're at it, while the time is going on, if you guys are enjoying this, and I hope that you are for sure, definitely leave a like on this video. It'll help it out. This YouTube algorithm, who knows how it really works, but they say that the likes help, and I will thank you in advance if you do like it and you give it a like. That would be awesome. And if you don't like it, let me know what you don't like for sure. I mean, you can leave a dislike, but I'd rather you tell me what you don't like, because I am always trying to improve this show, trying to make it better, trying to make it smoother, and trying to make it more interactive, right? I was really hoping the chat was going to work today. It's one of those things where sometimes it doesn't work unless I'm live, so I may have to do a test live another day just to make sure we get some of these comments actually on the screen, which is really what I want. And we're going to be getting guests, and I'll talk about that pretty soon. That's the plan, is to get some of these fine YouTube personalities up here chatting movies with us. All right, so all right, this one is done for sure. Did I add it already? I did not. So let me add Snatch to our bracket, because that was not close whatsoever, and I don't think anyone thought it was going to be. So okay, so Snatch, number 1 seed, going to the finals. Thanks to you. You voted Snatch through. Okay, saw that coming. So now comes the tough one, guys. We have Sherlock Holmes going up against Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. I'm starting this poll early, and definitely tell me in the chat how you feel, because I'm torn. Because like I said, I can't imagine before doing this tournament that I would vote for Sherlock Holmes. And I think I am. I think I'm going to vote for Sherlock Holmes. I thought this Sherlock Holmes had much more rewatchability. I've seen that movie. I've seen Sherlock, I don't know, a small handful of times. And every time I think I notice something a little more in it. I think I see new things. I appreciate it more. The script is snappy. The acting is great. The action is great. Look at this. We're already at a 50-50 vote. I knew this was going to be split. I'm so happy this is a split vote. I got to be honest. I mean, I get when it's 100% for sure, but I enjoy it way more when it's split vote because that means we got different opinions. And that's the best part about this whole thing. I love hearing your guys' opinions and seeing who likes what. All right. So it's split right now. So like I said, I'm going to vote Sherlock. Because I think this one's going to pull through, for sure. So yeah, let's see. Curtis voted for Sherlock. Nerdlot voted Sherlock. Captain Pennsylvania voting for Lockstock. Definitely, man. This is what's tough, right? We got two films here. Lockstock. Yeah, it doesn't do it for me anymore, and I really feel like it was this more so than any other of his movies. I feel like this one is definitely a product of his time. It felt the most 90s, and some of the I'll be honest, some of the comedy for this didn't work for me nowadays, and not in like a controversial way, just in a it was okay. And I'm curious for those that voted for Lockstock, Captain Pennsylvania, and Second Street. I'm curious. When's the last time you saw this movie? And it may, your opinion may never change if you say you saw it last week. If you watch it again 2 weeks from now, you still may be like, hey, Lockstock is the best movie for me. Captain said it was solid when it came out. 100%. 100%. That's what I'm curious though, if you've seen it recently, because my opinion changed on it, and I'm surprised that it did. And so that's why I'm curious if you've seen it lately and it was the same. Second Street said it's been a while since I've seen both. Yeah. And you know, that's what's fun about this is that you get to go rewatch it. And so, you know, it made me think too, like in the future, I'm going to start putting out, you know, the topics ahead of time. That way people can go and rewatch some of these movies, knowing ahead of time for sure. Okay. This was the closest one that we've had so far, and that's awesome. Captain Pendulum said it's been about 10 years. That's how much it was for me. Nerdlot jumps back in. Snatch was my introduction to Ritchie, so Lockstock doesn't stand out as much. Yeah, I agree. It's weird though. So like Snatch was my gateway to Ritchie, and I'm telling you, I loved Lockstock. It was my favorite, and it changed over years. Yeah, Cap said he's gonna rewatch it. I would, man. If you like this movie as much as you say you do, and I mean, I believe you. I'm just saying, like, if you like it as much as you say, then definitely rewatch it, because I'll be very curious if you're still feeling it as much. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I don't want to come off at saying like I watched it and now I hate it. Not even. It's just not as high as it used to be for me. Second Street jumps in. I only seen Sherlock Holmes when it first came out, which I would say most people probably are the same for you. Definitely. All right, so I am going to do Sherlock Holmes jumping in, and we now have our finals all set up. All right, Sherlock Holmes jumping it. Bracket. Cap says he's going to watch it tonight. Hey, man, that's awesome. Yeah, you should. Definitely. And then hit me up on Twitter @Fanjecture. Let me know. I really want to know what you think after you watch it, because I want to know if it's definitely up there at the same for you. All right, this is it, guys. We have made it to the finals. Look at this. Number 1 seed Snatch. Number 3 Sherlock Holmes. I had a feeling this was gonna make it. Even Second Street. Trinity says this game is rigged. It might be rigged. You know why you're going to say it's rigged? Because look at this. I already had it matched out. Like normally we would take an intermission so I can set up the different rounds. This was my prediction. I predicted ahead of time that Snatch and Sherlock Holmes were going to be the finals. Why? I don't know. Maybe I have my finger to the pulse of the film community. I can read inside people's minds. I talk to people with telepathy. I can feel it. Okay. Now, what I'm not going to feel is what you guys are going to vote, because I think I know the way it's going to go, and I'm not going to say yet, but I am going to start this poll. Okay. Let's do this. Second Street. This is like one of them pick a card tricks. It is, right? I got my cones going right here, and then you got the ball underneath. I led you guys here, right? It was the will of, not the force, because we're talking Guy Ritchie. We're not talking Star Wars, but it was the will of the Ritchie. I led you here. Okay, let's get serious, because this is a very serious topic. This show is very serious. The result of this is going to change lives. Not going to change lives, but let's figure this out, okay? To recap, I'm not going to go too much into it because we've talked these movies to death, but I'm just going to recap everyone's feelings for these, okay? Snatch, Guy Ritchie's first film, one of the greatest films that he's done. The acting was great. The script was smart. It was independent as hell. It really worked on all levels. Sherlock Holmes, incredible franchise and vehicle for Robert Downey Jr. The chemistry between Jude Law, Robert Downey Jr., and don't forget Rachel McAdams. She's really good in this movie too. Is stellar. It's a mainstream movie, but it still felt like a Guy Ritchie film. It really had his DNA and his imprint all over it, right? It seemed like Warner Brothers really let him loose and was able to be himself. Okay. So let's see. We got one vote for Snatch. I'm torn. I don't know. Captain, if Pennsylvania, if you want to vote, you gotta do it without those question marks. Or you're just saying in general, you're not sure. I don't know what I'm gonna vote. Time's running out, guys. Time's running out. Okay. See, this is tough. The final round is always the toughest. I think I gotta go with my gut, and as much. Okay, I'm not gonna hit enter yet. I'm gonna wait 10 seconds. As much as I love the Sherlock Holmes movie, I am voting for Snatch. Right? I have to vote for Snatch. It's the best movie. It's his best movie. It still holds up. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you right now. If you haven't seen this movie in 10 years, 15 years, however long it's been, do yourself a favor. Watch this movie again. I'm telling you 100% it holds up. It might even hold up way better, okay? Because, I mean, the acting is so good in this. All right, this is complete. Let me just finish out our bracket. Let me pick Snatch so we can see for once more where we're at. All right, Snatch with 100%. There we go. Good enough. That's fine. All right. Look above me. Your winner. You guys voted this through. It wasn't just me. And this was the best part about this show. It's not just me. It's all about you. It's all about you guys getting together, talking this out, and voting. And you guys have voted Snatch as your number one. Okay. Guys, gals, anyone watching this show, if you're watching live, everyone in the chat, hold on, let me get some shout outs for all these people. Let me pop up my participants. 2nd Street, Captain, Pennsylvania, Sir Nerdalot is here. Thank you to LB who jumped in earlier. Thanks for K-Log for jumping in earlier. Curtis was here playing along. We had, who else did we have? We had 19K Fox, which I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. Look, everybody who's watching it now, who's watching it later. I thank you so much for joining us. We are a small show, we are a small channel, and I hope we grow because these kinds of things are super fun, and it's only going to get better. And as more people get in here and more people are voting, and we flesh out and we solidify exactly how this show is going to run, it's gonna be really fun to see everyone's opinions. And look, by the next time the show comes up, I promise I'm gonna get some version of a chat on the screen, because I definitely want to see what you guys are saying, and I want it to be on the screen, okay? Because I want your voices to also be a part of this. And also, we are in the process of getting co-hosts and chat and people to join me on the show, right? I know in 2 weeks, if you guys are a fan of Nerdy Blurb TV, Ryan from over there, he's joining us. I got Ashley Burnell from the Movie Oracle. Trying to work it out at some point to get Trinity on here, but I know he's a busy man, and so I'm gonna try to work it out with him. I'm gonna try to get a bunch of people, because that's what I want. I want a fun environment, a fun conversation, and I want us to be able to talk about this. So let me just jump in the chat and see what people are saying. Second Street saying Snatch takes home the hole-in touchdown. Gotta love when you mix up all the sports. Yay, sports, right? Yes, love it. Certain a lot. I also think Sherlock holds up, but Snatch is a masterpiece. Yes, for sure. Okay, Captain Kevin, Pennsylvania, great show, bro. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We're trying to get this going. Curtis says, didn't want to screw last vote since I can't really judge. Hey, man, it's okay. No worries about it. I'm just glad that you're here watching, and if for nothing else, if you got some opinions from people about what movies to watch, hey, that's what more can you get with that? Second Street, and I'm loving that you say this, because you and I, man, we're on the same page. Second Street says we need to do Kevin Smith movies next. Kevin Smith, and I guess I'll announce it right now. I was gonna put something on Twitter on Friday, but I'll do it right now. Kevin Smith movies is the next one we're doing Kevin Smith movies next week, because Jay and Silent Bob reboot just came out on digital, and I think Blu-ray, but 100% it just came out on digital. So we are definitely doing Kevin Smith movies next week. Maybe I can even get Trinity to come on and talk. We'll see. I know he's a busy guy, especially on Wednesdays. Certain Nerd a lot, that was cool. Thanks, Second Street. Hey, man, Trinity, thank you for guiding people this way. Hopefully this was fun for people. And we'll definitely do more in the future. Yeah, Sir Nerd a lot, man. Jay and Silent reboot, watched it yesterday. That's awesome, man. I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna watch it this weekend, I believe. I'm definitely watching it before next Wednesday, but I think I'm gonna try to watch it this weekend, because I'm very excited to see that movie. Captain, yes, got to see that reboot then. Yeah, definitely. I'm telling you, it just came out on digital, so, and I think it's only like $5 to rent it, or if you want to buy it, hey, go and buy it. But yeah, we got all of them. We're doing Clerks, we're doing Clerks 2, Dogma, we're doing Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Jay and Silent Bob reboot, Chasing Amy, Mallrats, and then so those are the core 7, right? Because those are all the ones with Jay and Silent Bob. So, but we needed an 8th, so we're gonna do Zack and Mary to make a porno, because I think that one is not only really good, but Kevin Smith is really proud of that movie, and it's the most highly rated of his movies outside of having Jay and Silent Bob in it. So it'll be interesting. I know, especially with Kevin Smith movies, man, people are all over the place about which is their favorite. So that's going to be a fun time. All right, I'm babbling at this point, so I'm just going to say thank you all for joining us. This has been a blast. It's been a lot of fun. Join us next week for Kevin Smith movies. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter at Fanjecture. It's down below here, and you can get all sorts of updates and stuff for what we're doing. All right, so thank you so much, and we will talk to you next week. Have a good night.